I'm going to take just 6.5 minutes to introduce to you what we at the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission think is the next big thing in bicycle transportation planning, the level of traffic stress analysis. The simple beginning of the LTS analysis is that it looks at cycling networks from the point of view of the user, and it starts with an understanding that there are several different kinds of users, and these different kinds of users are willing to tolerate different levels of stress when riding their bicycles for transportation. Here are some strong and fearless riders, out at night, a cold night, mixing it up with traffic. The only factor in their favor is that they are riding in a group. This group is experiencing either level 3 or level 4 traffic stress in this example. Here are some riders who are tolerating a much lower level of traffic stress. These people in the protected bike lane in Chicago are the interested and concerned group, enjoying a visible separation from traffic. This fits the definition of level of stress 2, Dutch-style separation. And on the right are folks on the Dayton-Kettering connector here in Dayton, enjoying an LTS-1 experience, a level at which one would allow an 8-year-old to ride. So what if we took a simple rubric for classifying the level of stress with our streets based on the number of lanes and the posted speed limits, and mapped our whole network like these planners in San Jose, California did, and then took out the high-stress streets to assess the reach of the network that those 60% of people, the interested but concerned, are willing to ride? Can you see the low-stress islands? The disconnects between them? Another key to this analysis: the highest stress segment determines the stress level of the whole trip. That is, if 90% of the trip is LTS-1 and 2% is LTS-4, it's considered an LTS-4 high-stress trip. This logic is borne out in survey data. Here's a question asked about the desirability of separation from traffic. The answers are broken out by rider types. The green bar is that interested category, and they are overwhelmingly interested in using facilities that provide the safety of separation from motor traffic. This question is from Lessons from the Green Lanes, Evaluating Protected Bike Lanes in the United States, from the National Institute for Transportation and Communities, a study funded by the U.S. Department of Transportation. What we at the Regional Planning Commission propose to do at a regional scale as part of our Regional Bike Plan Update is to identify low-stress islands and prioritize connections from those islands to the regional trails network. Here's an example. You're looking at the lowest stress streets in Xenia, Ohio. We selected streets within the residential and commercial land uses in Xenia, but excluded the roads that are federally functionally classified. Now here we've added the Miami Valley Trails, a portion of the nation's largest network of paved off-street trails. You can get a general sense of how these trails can serve as vital connections between separate neighborhoods in the city. And now taking a closer look, in the blue circles you can see subdivisions that are directly connected to the trail systems that are otherwise disconnected from the rest of Xenia via the low-stress road network. In the red circle, you can see a large subdivision that is isolated from the trails and other areas of the city when one looks at the low-stress roadway network. Low-stress connections to the next island or to the trail would be of very high value to residents there. So once we have done this look at our communities, and there are lots of ways to get this done with GIS, we would suggest this approach to identifying project priorities in each community. Look for opportunities to connect the low-stress islands to other islands, to the regional bikeways, and to key destinations within the communities, such as schools, community centers, and commercial districts. And pay close attention to critical locations for crossing high-stress roads. Works well for Xenia, right? But what about communities with only one trail, or those that are not on the Bikeways network? We know that it isn't feasible to build bike trails to every destination. In the same way, it isn't possible to convert every road to an LTS-1 low-stress road. But it is possible to retrofit roads into LTS-2 facilities using Dutch-style design and expand the reach of the low-stress network. Remember, the interested but concerned riders are looking for the safety benefits of separation from motor traffic. There are several facility types that can be considered LTS-2, lower stress facilities. To be sure, these facilities listed here are not the same as the regional bikeways, but these are the kinds of on-road facilities that can attract these kinds of riders. Let's look at examples of each. A simple, striped bike lane can be sufficient on a lightly traveled roadway. Buffered bike lanes provide a stronger visual cue to cyclists and motorists about the separation of space for these roadway users. Protected bike lanes provide visual and physical barriers between bikes and automotive traffic. Cycle tracks, truly the epitome of Dutch design, provide the most effective barriers between bikes and cars. And there are intersection and crossing treatments as well, which can improve safety and rider comfort when crossing a high-stress arterial. A careful application of these roadway and intersection treatments in strategic locations can greatly expand the coverage of a community's low-stress cycling network. The result should be more people adding cycling to their transportation mix. Thanks for listening.